Mobile games can feel night and day sometimes once the ads are removed and the transactions are removed, and you just get to pay for something as a full experience. Cubic Games specialises in porting mobile games over to console, and some of them work exceptionally well, and some less so, and sadly, Baking Time falls into the latter, but it's less around the actual game itself. It's more about the fact that the console version seems to have been shipped full of lots of bugs and idiosyncrasies that kind of make the game really frustrating to play. Baking Time follows a similar principle to mining games, where you get given an oven and you get to scoop out different cakes and sweet treats that you've been baking, and then you deliver them to your shop front to then sell to the customers at the till. Once you've cleared a certain amount of pans and you've sold a certain amount of baked treats, you generate money, which you can then use to buy automated workers that you can then upgrade, who will go and scoop out those things for you. Once you've done a certain amount of trays, you can then unlock a cashier for each baked good that you've unlocked so far, and they can then auto sell for you, enabling you to then focus on what's the next cakey treat that I want to unlock in the next baking oven and my next shop front. And the idea is that through automation and just building bigger and bigger chains, you earn more money. You can then attach pets that will then provide multipliers for you so that you can then earn more money exponentially. And you'll collect gems that you can buy those pets with by completing certain tasks, like selling X amount of cakes, or unlocking a certain amount of baked treats, or serving and scooping up a certain amount of things out of trays, for example. All of this is quite cyclic and quite basic from an automation perspective, and it was relatively interesting for the first 30 minutes to an hour or so, and then I started to notice that there are all kinds of problems with this game. The first one is that the game seems to forget when you leave certain trays and ovens behind that they're working, and so stuff grinds to a halt and nothing works. And it doesn't collect your money. So then you're thinking, well, why have I bothered with any of this? It only seems to be collecting money that you're kind of near or in a kind of couple of ovens away from. So you kind of start abandoning some of the stuff that you did earlier on because it's less impactful. And so you kind of go, this is pointless. The next thing is that some baked treats unlock randomly at certain intervals, and so it doesn't actually represent what you've truly unlocked, which then locks out some trophies and achievements because you can't guess what's going to be randomly unlocked when you've selected one baked treat like a macaroon and it gives you a chocolate cake instead, but then says you've unlocked a pecan pie, and then you're thinking, what? And so none of the upgrades actually align and work properly. Then when it comes to choosing a level up for yourself, the game's bugged to the point where if you choose either to upgrade your speed or your amount of cakes that you can carry, you can press both buttons at the same time and get both upgrades. So that's broken too. And then, last but not least, sometimes my ovens just forgot they were upgraded at all and went back to 0, and then I had to go and do the whole thing again. This game is broken, and whilst the actual gameplay loop itself is very similar to an awful lot of other very lo-fi mobile automation games and is inoffensive in its own way, I quite like the cooking and baking theme. The actual mechanics behind it are broken beyond repair currently at the moment, and for that reason alone I wouldn't recommend this game. I can't platinum it because the way how the random upgrades have gone I think have broken everything for me, and I've got pretty frustrated at the grind because there's no idolization really outside of the game if you're not playing it, but you are just repetitively going around scooping stuff up and shoveling it to a shop front. So if you want to do that for like 6 or 7 hours, be my guest, but I would be bored out of my brains if that continued, and so I dropped out early and have no intentions of going back. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.